You are still dangerous. You can be my wingman anytime.
Bullshit. You can be mine.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Why, Johnny Ringo. You look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Fight's not with you, Holiday.
I beg to differ, sir. We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood, remember?
I was just fooling about.
I wasn't. And this time, it's legal.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through. The Navy needs Maverick. The kid needs Maverick. That's why I fought for you. That's why you're still here.
Thank you, Ice, for everything.
One last thing. Who's the better pilot? You or me?
This is a nice moment. Let's not ruin it.
Somebody big just died. Legendary actor Val Kilmer is dead at 65 years old. And my friend Mike North is here to deliver his eulogy. Mike, long time no see, my friend. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Chamberlain, George Foreman, and now Val Kilmer, which to me is the more shocking one. Foreman, of course, 76, Chamberlain at 90. So we'll talk about Val in a minute, Joe. But first, we got to talk about what makes this wonderful franchise positively wonderful, where we give the people that die more play. Val Kilmer probably got more play than a lot of our people have gotten, including the Foremans of the world and other people that have passed on that we've done for over the 2 years now. So, but he still didn't get enough. Okay. And that's why I dreamt this show up. And we're going to give him his due process tonight. Sometimes the shows last 15, 20 minutes, depending. Roberta Flack was a very short show, but she got her kudos. This will be longer. We've done shows up to 40, 45 minutes. I don't know how long this will last, but the body of work in a short period of time, being only 65, is fantastic. Cumberland Chapels, a funeral home. There's no doubt they're making arrangements for Val right now, his family. 8300 West Lawrence Avenue. I don't think they're making arrangements at Cumberland Chapels, but something like that. Maybe not as nice, because this is the best one I've ever been to. I've been to, in all my years, plenty. Most of them were ma and pa's. This isn't. This is the Cadillac of funeral chapels. There are the testimonials to recent services. We change them up, just like we change up the beginning when people, when the days start going on in the months, we change, the George Foreman someday will be off our list because every day is a different day. 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, Norwich, Illinois. Great parking area, parking lot, everything else that you need. They handle you with care from the very beginning. They make it economically feasible. They don't try to take you for a ride. You don't last that long, decades, if you do that. 708-456-8300, CumberlandChapels.com. And then if you want to have the meal afterwards, after the funeral. You want to have a party? I was just there. We had a St. Joseph's table there. Wonderful. Great food. Pennyville Station, ladies and gentlemen. Established in 2018, Tony Antonacci. And, of course, his father works there Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tino Antonacci. You want to see a living restaurant legend, the man from Basta Pasta, the man from Sweetwater, the man from BBC, the man who started it all, along with Steve Lombardo, who owns Gibson's, Doug Buffone. They were all partners. And now this next generation. Yeah, I saw Tony. I knew Tony when he was 10 years old. And now he's got his own place. Wonderful. Never a problem. Always nice. 112 Main Street, Park Ridge, Illinois, Pennyville Station. Go check them out. I go there. I try to get there once or twice or 3 times a month if I can. I live about 60 miles from there, but I don't forget. Now, here's what we don't forget either. I wanted to make sure I did a great job. Not that I don't try to do a great job on this show every time, but a lot of our people are people that maybe Joe hasn't heard of. A lot of the people that we've done, maybe younger people, that's happened this year I hadn't heard of. This is one that everybody's universal on. And I didn't hear anybody say he was a bad actor. I didn't hear anybody say that he was not accomplished. He probably alone, according to James Woods, one of my favorite actors also, who he still is in awe of his performance in Tombstone. This is
how he didn't get nominated for an Oscar, Mike. That was a travesty.
Well,
for that.
There are people, we'll talk about that too. I have a list of people who have never even been nominated. And you'll be stunned by the people. Sure. But I believe, and Oliver Stone said it, he got screwed in the doors. He got screwed. And the reason he got screwed is twofold. Val didn't always have the greatest reputation. Sometimes he was difficult to work for. Sometimes he was aloof. Sometimes, he put on weight. He lost weight. He was a free spirit. He was an Irish, German, Indian. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't get much more free-spirited than those three, ladies and gentlemen. And Oliver Stone also, being the guy that he is, the conspiracy guy, the Kennedy guy. I think the Academy are a bunch of stuffed shirts, okay? And I have never been a fan. They give the guys like Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant. That's not one of his best movies. Okay?
No, not at all.
They give Al Pacino, okay, A Scent of a Woman. That's maybe, if it's on, I may watch it. I watch Godfather, Godfather 2. I watch Serpico. I watch every movie he's ever made, for God's sake. Dog Day Afternoon, okay? So guys get screwed over, but nobody, absolutely nobody, has been screwed over more by the Academy than this guy, okay?
100%.
Number one, he's one of the rare actors that can carry a movie as a lead and also play a supporting role, okay? And he played the lead role, okay, in a couple big movies, including The Doors, as Jim Morrison. There's nobody. Jim Morrison couldn't have played him. Jim Morrison would have been.
He was so good.
He was so perfect, so good. And I brought up on Twitter today. Check us out, Joe Mandel Twitter and North to North, NORTH number 2 NORTH. I brought it up today. Jamie Foxx won an Academy Award for
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles. He lip synced though. He didn't sing. Okay. This guy sang as Jim Morrison, and the Doors who went to see the movie at a private screening thought they dubbed Morrison's voice. That's how close it is.
It was
now,
good.
We will show you scenes later on. In fact, let's show a scene. We don't have any. There's some legalities that Joe's got to watch out for, and stuff like that. And Joe does a great job. And he tells me, Mike, I don't know if we want to do this one as a standalone. He says, let's. I said, you know what? Show his acting, right?
I even had to pull a little bit of the song because it was such a good scene.
Well, you know what I was going to do tonight? I don't know if this is against the rules. I was going to play the Doors in the background. Okay? I don't think you could get in trouble for that. I just say, hey, B, shut it off. I keep saying that. You know,
That's
there's
right.
always ways around them. I figure things out eventually, but I'm not that kind of guy now. Hey, I'm a straight arrow. Oh, wait, straight arrow. Okay, so let's hear a little bit of Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Oh, come on, John. It's just a word, Jim. Stones changed when they played here.
Yeah. Why don't you change your name to, Sydney or Irving, Manzarek? It's just a word. Hey, man. My words, I don't care. Let's just jam.
And now, direct from Los Angeles, California, ladies and gentlemen, here now, the Doors.
You know that it would be untrue.
Sound-wise,
You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Yeah.
You said it.
Baby, light my
You said it on national TV. I can't believe that.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
All right.
Wow.
The story is, and I saw it that night, so it doesn't matter. I saw it. The Stones did capitulate. The Beatles would capitulate if there was something. Everybody capitulated to Ed Sullivan except a few people. They were never on again, the Doors. And the Stones were on 6 to 8 times. The Beatles were on 3 to 4 times. The Doors, 1 time. Because if you screwed over Ed Sullivan back in those days, you were finished. But the Doors were not. The Doors were not finished. Anyway, let's talk about Val Kilmer. The Doors, we had to lead off with that because that would have been his best acting award. Okay. His best supporting acting award all time of any supporting actor in my world. Tombstone. It's not even close. The man.
Yeah. What a movie.
The man lost weight. The man studied speech patterns. The man read up on everything that he could, did his research, was believable. Kirk Douglas did a great role as, of course, Doc Holliday. There's been 4 or 5 remakes. Victor Mature's done it in the movie My Darling Clementine. Yeah, this is off from memory, folks. People go, boy, Mike, you did. No, I watch all this stuff. And there's been 4 or 5 remakes. The one with Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid just did a great Reagan. I just watched that movie, Reagan. Outstanding. Oh, yeah. You can't do Doc Holliday. You can't. Just like Russell Crowe couldn't do Robin Hood, the Errol Flynn's Robin Hood. Because
that's right.
It's no good. And I'll tell you what happened with Val Kilmer and me after we go over his particulars. He was born Val Edward Kilmer on New Year's Eve, 1959 in L.A. Died on April Fool's Day, sad, April 1st, age 65. He went to Juilliard, folks.
Yep.
That's the top of the heap, okay? He was an actor from 1980 to 2022, but he did not work a lot. He only did 2 movies from 2006, look at that, to 2022. He did 2 movies, and one of them was Top Gun Maverick, of which I've seen once. I'll tell you why. Movie. Well, I know you probably love it. I saw it once. It was good enough for me. Then I saw Top Gun Maverick. A lot of flying. Tremendous comeback. Very hard to come back 30 years from then. I mean, you look at other comebacks. For instance, 1982, Beverly, 48 Hours. They thought that Eddie Murphy and Nolte waited too long to do the sequel 8 years later. This damn thing came a lot more than 8 years later. Top Gun Maverick I saw that once, and they weren't my favorite Val Kilmer movies. In fact, when I saw Top Gun, I didn't even notice him that much. I noticed Tom Cruise. I noticed Kelly McGillis. I noticed a lot of other people. He was fine, but he was just scratching the surface, folks. Believe me when I tell you this. He was married to Joanne Whaley, an actress from 1988 to 1996. He had 2 kids, born in L.A., like I said. And his movies, Joe, made $3.8 billion. This is one of the greatest scenes ever in movie history.
Oh, yeah. I love this scene.
And this
I'll
guy
be your
here,
Huckleberry.
yeah, I'm your Huckleberry. And this guy here that plays Johnny Ringo, and I forget his name right now. Maybe we could. I think it's Michael Bain, if I'm not mistaken. He has had alcohol problems. He's had issues. He's still around. He never played the game.
Michael Bain, very good, Mike.
I just, Joe, I don't know.
You're an encyclopedia, Mike.
I know the useless stuff though. I thought my mom used to say, "Why do you know all this useless stuff? Why don't you know something more about geography and math?" Well, little did I know this would come in handy. I didn't see Batman Forever because every Batman to me is the same. Okay. The first one and the set, Michael Keaton played the first two. He's always going to be Batman to me. So I got to tell you what happened. Tombstone ruined everything for me. When I haven't seen a Val Kilmer movie, okay, let's say I haven't seen Top Secret, okay, and now they want me to go back and see Top Secret after I've seen Tombstone and The Doors, I can't do it because he was not as accomplished an actor. He just wasn't. He was getting there, and he was very good. For the bit that I watched today on Twitter, they had yesterday all sorts of movie scenes. Okay, but Tombstone and The Doors, I think, are his two best. I heard people say he was with accomplished actors there. He had a minor role there. Okay, compared to everybody else: De Niro, Pacino, Tom Sizemore. Who was the girl? Ashley Judd. Okay. Those are all accomplished actors. He had a smaller role. And some people were saying it was his best performance. I go, are you kidding me? No, it's not his best performance. Okay. But, and I don't understand why Ray Manzarek didn't like how they portrayed Jim Morrison. You know why? Because Val Kilmer did Jim Morrison and he didn't want to do the substance drugs. He didn't want that on the screen. He wanted him wacky. He wanted him as crazy. He wanted him as the way he was. So I was puzzled by Ray Manzarek, the organist, and they're in the Hall of Fame, by the portrayal. What are you talking about? The guy didn't show up to concerts. The guy flipped you off. He didn't show up to recording. So I thought Ray Manzarek did the Doors a disservice by not telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And in a lot of ways, the only thing that's been glossed over today, I'm a fan of movie stars, and I've read about them all the way through the years. Val Kilmer had some issues with directors and stuff. He was a troublemaker sometimes on the set. And I didn't read a whole lot about that, but there's a reason that he didn't work as frequently, because he's a perfectionist. He don't like nonsense. This sounds very familiar to me. Doesn't like nonsense, wants things done the right way, doesn't like directors that he knows more about the movies than they do. It's a dynamic where you have 50 people on the set and you got to keep your cool if you're bored, if you have nothing to do, and he couldn't do it. So sometimes he'd miss out on roles. I will say this. If I had to make a hit movie, he'd be in it. He'd be in it.
Oh, for sure.
And I'd put up with his antics because I've done the same thing. I wasn't difficult to work with. I just didn't go for nonsense. And people mix that up.
I don't think it's a true comparison, Mike, but he kind of reminds me of the old thought process on Marlon Brando a little bit.
Right. And here, Michael Jordan was difficult to work with. His teammates couldn't stand him. I guarantee you that most of the time. But they won.
But every team in the league would have him.
That's exactly right. And any movie that you want to make, okay, you got to do. His movies with him in them made $3.8 billion. In a short amount, you're talking he's only 65.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had some big movies, man.
He was troubled when he was younger a little bit. He had throat cancer, which was in remission. He was one of the first actors. I mean, people went to Comic-Con. Okay. And they have old actors at Comic-Con, whether it's in San Diego, LA, what have you. God, we're on tonight, aren't we, Joe? I mean, I'm just getting everything in. You know, then you have old actors like Robert Vaughn would be there, or Bruce Gordon, the guy that played Frank Nitti in The Untouchables in 1960, maybe Debbie Reynolds. Val Kilmer. Yeah. Like, Val Kilmer went to autograph shows because he needed to supplement his income because he had a hole. He had a trachea type of situation where when you see him talk, he's got the plug out, okay? And he's covered up with the scarf.
And you saw it in that last scene of Top Gun Maverick that we played
Right.
a little while
Great
ago.
job, Joe. When you plug it up, he couldn't talk. So then he had to type. See? But at the end, he talks. Okay? His website is still up at valkilmer.com. Also, a couple of movies. First of all, he wrote a couple of autobiographies called I'm Your Huckleberry, one of them, and then Val Kilmer. So, I mean, I'm Your Huckleberry is one of the most famous. I use it. Everybody uses it. Everybody, when you quote Val Kilmer, that's one of the quotes. I'm Your Huckleberry. That's as perfect as it could be. He was in Top Secret, Real Genius, Top Gun, both of them.
Yep.
The Doors. He went to prepare for The Doors. I had this jotted down in my notes. He went to, I didn't even know they had this many, 3, 4, 5 different tribute bands to The Doors. He went to watch them to prepare for Jim Morrison. Okay. He was a decent Batman. You know how Iron Man is just Robert Downey?
Sure.
I guess I got fed up with the changing. I thought George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Keaton, and a couple guys I've never heard of, and Kilmer, they asked him to do another Batman. You know what he said?
Keaton didn't want to do it.
Keaton didn't want to do it, but you know what Kilmer said? They go, we want you to do the second one. Keaton had done 2. We want you to do your second one. He says, you guys like the villains more than Batman. I'm not doing it. I mean, it's a fun show, but he didn't like, as you've seen, the Joker now is now bigger than Batman. That wasn't the plan. Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I mean, their whole franchise. They got rid of Batman. They got the Joker now, and he's the main franchise. And I give Val Kilmer credit. I mean, this is how he was. There's no way. You guys are favoring like the Penguin and guys like that over Batman. I've seen it, So he didn't do that. That was interesting. Tombstone. There's only one character actor that surpasses Val Kilmer. But this character actor could not lead a movie like Val Kilmer could. That's what makes Val Kilmer great. John Cassell, who played Fredo in The Godfather, appeared in 5 movies. Okay, Godfather 1, Godfather 2, The Conversation, Dog Day Afternoon, and Deer Hunter.
What a run.
And then he died, just like Val Kilmer, but at a much younger age, and he was dating Meryl Streep. 5 monster movies, and he was in every one of them. So I consider him on par with Val Kilmer, but Val Kilmer had more range. John Cassell could not have played Batman. Okay? John Cassell could not have played Doc Holliday. Look at that. The guy's sweating. The guy coughed through the whole movie. You see the Kirk Douglas one, and he coughs periodically. This guy, his eyes are red. He's sweating. He knows how to act. He studied what somebody with tuberculosis, which they called lung disease back then, or some sort would be. Then he went to the sanitarium. Just a tremendous movie. I put him up there, and I don't know, Joe, if you're familiar with these guys, with Thomas Mitchell, who was in It's a Wonderful Life.
Thomas Mitchell was great.
Yeah, he played the lead, the father in Gone with the Wind. He he's just a tremendous actor. I put Edmund O'Brien up there with this guy. Edmund O'Brien in Cagney movies. Goes back 40, 50 years and stuff like that. 7 Days in May. You may not be familiar with these guys, folks. Write them down if you can, and you'll see one. A female, Eve Arden, appeared in Mildred Pierce, appeared in countless movies. was a go-to, was a smart alecky girl and a great character actress. And then Charles Durning, who was in The Sting and other. I put Val Kilmer up there, but none of them could be a lead. That's what made Val Kilmer special.
And he was a lead, all right.
Oh, yeah, he was. And he could have done even more, but he didn't go for the nonsense.
And the throat cancer, too, came at a
Well,
at a
I
bad
think
time.
the throat cancer had something to do with that, Joe. You're absolutely right. But you know what I loved about him? Him and Kirk Douglas, who had the stroke. They went out. It didn't affect them. You see some people,
Yeah,
they
he
become
still lived his life.
Still lived his life. They're recluses. Now, he declined Francis Ford Coppola's 1983 film, The Outsiders. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was a mistake. He also turned down Blue Velvet. Okay. Which was a weird ass movie, folks. If you haven't seen it with Dennis Hopper, who's a weird ass guy. He also
Dennis
did
Hopper
Willow.
is weird.
He did Willow, where he met his wife, Joanne Wiley. I did not like that movie. I did not.
You know, it's got its own.
It's a kids-like thing almost. It's like a fairy tale, isn't it? Or what is that thing?
It's sci-fi. It's like Lucasfilm, you know, George Lucas and whatever.
Yeah. Thunderheart, he did. He played like Elvis Presley in True Romance. I mean, this guy there wasn't anything that he couldn't do. It was written by Quentin Tarantino, that role also. But then comes 1993. Doc Holliday, and he becomes an institution. Just absolutely becomes a major movie star. Now, there's a movie we've missed. We haven't missed. Like
I haven't seen it. Now I need to watch it, Mike.
Well, I was on the phone with Joe. I mean, on Twitter today, because we have it down to a science. He knows what I'm thinking. I know what he's thinking. And he's the best at what he does. There's no doubt getting ready for these shows. He does documentaries in record time. You know, you see people that do documentaries. It was a year in the making. Okay. We got to do mini documentaries in a matter of days.
That's right.
Okay. There's a movie, and I know everybody's heard it. Kill the Irishman. And it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And Val Kilmer was in his fat stage. Okay. He was a little heavy. This was a movie that I liked him in. But if you've seen Tombstone or The Doors, you watch it and you go, he was making some money off this movie. This was a hop, skip, and a jump for him. This wasn't hard. If you haven't seen Kill the Irishman, it's about Irishman Danny Green, who in the 70s fought the mafia from Cleveland. He bombed 75. They bombed 75 different businesses and buildings in one summer after the mafia threatened to kill them. They eventually got him, but he left a lot of people in his wake, and he took down the mob. Let's take a look at Kill the Irishman. And folks, I want you to check it out. It's on HBO all the time.
This will be taken care of, Joe.
You give this to the man who kills the Irishman.
You guys have let me drive for too long. Irishman's in business for himself now.
I will cut your heart out with a rusty butter knife and eat it while it's still beating.
Watch your back.
36 bombs exploded. Really think the luck of the Irish is going to save you?
I've not built a bomb big enough to kill me.
This is one guy, and you can't take care of it? We've shot him. We've blown him up. He just won't die.
That all you got? It's gonna take more than a few firecrackers to kill Danny Green.
One of the great movies, and the real Danny Green. I read about him in the 70s. He's a folk hero in Cleveland. And this guy nailed it. Val Kilmer, I never thought one time in that movie he could beat up Danny Green. Danny Green was, they tried to kill him 8 to 9 times and he survived. They blew up his house when he was in it. It fell on him.
Jeez.
He lived in a trailer. He says, you know where I'm at. And as an Irishman myself, I mean, this guy feared nobody. He was a fan of the Irish Celtic Warriors. And he wouldn't back down to anybody. Just watch the movie, folks. You'll enjoy it. Val Kilmer was good in it. But it was when he was starting to wane off a little bit. Okay? But he was still good in it. And if you noticed, his name flashed first. Val Kilmer on the trailer. That's how
big name.
How big he was. Other things, you know, he did some musicals. He did everything.
I mean, Prince of Egypt is another big one he did. It was animated, but it's one of my wife's favorite movies. And
well, I don't watch it. Yeah, well, the Prince of Egypt, I didn't see that one, Joe, because I'd have to be probably have about 5 kids. You know,
that's right. But, well, I'm just kids growing up in the, I think it was the late 90s.
Oh, well, your guys were younger when that came out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I believe that was nominated for an Academy Award as well for Best Animated Film.
All right. Now you hit it. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, what a transition, Mike.
I'm pissed off. I look up Oscar nominations. I hate the Academy. They're a bunch of stuffed shirts. Okay. They've always been. They always pick the wrong movies. They always pick the wrong guy. I mean, You're Raging Bull, the greatest boxing movie, and who Siskel and Ebert said it's the greatest movie, one of the great movies of all time. Ordinary People won. You know, a Pacino lost for Serpico. I mean, the list goes on and on. But here's what I didn't know. Because, you know, on this show, folks, we not only eulogize the dead, but we educate.
And analyze.
Mercy. Get a little hawk there. Mercy. Analyze. Here are the guys that have never been up for an Academy Award. Okay? The nominations. All right. Let me find it here. Okay. All right. Errol Flynn, never nominated. Robin Hood, Seahawk, Captain Courageous. I mean, not Captain Courageous. Captain Blood, Casanova. All these great movies, but Robin, he never got even nominated. Another shocker, voted one of the top 25 movie stars of all time by the American Film Institute. Edward G. Robinson. Nah. Little Caesar. Nah. I'll tell you what. You know, none. The guy in the 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s, Cincinnati Kid in 57. He didn't get nominated. I'll give you another one. Barbara Stanwyck. Double Indemnity. Andy Oakley. I'm going to myself, how are these legends passed over? Donald Sutherland, never nominated.
Here's another one, Mike.
Oh yeah, never been nominated. Yeah, but they act like he's the only black actor in Hollywood. He gets every job, and I don't blame him. I love Samuel L. Jackson, but you know if there's a black actor that you need, he's the guy you go after, because Denzel's got to be hard to deal with. And Samuel L. Jackson is such a big name. He's made more movies. Check out how many movies Samuel L. Jackson's made, folks. He's made more movies, I think, than anybody who ever lived. Ward Bond made 200 movies in his career. How many did Samuel L. Jackson make? I'm going to say more. I mean, I hear he's made more than anybody. Eric Roberts has made more movies. It's not Samuel. It's Eric Roberts, I think, that's made more movies than anybody. And I've never seen any of them except a couple. So
Samuel L. Jackson, over 153 films.
Yeah. Now look up Eric Roberts. Look out who did Star 80, Eric Roberts, one of the great actors, and will take any job. He'll take and
has appeared in over 700 films and TV shows.
Thank you. He's and on top of that, okay, he was in The Pope of Greenwich Village. Okay.
Yes, which we talked about on past shows as well.
Right. 700 movies this guy's made. I've seen 3 of them, maybe. Okay. This guy just takes any job he can. Eric Roberts, of course, the brother of Julia Roberts, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a lot. He also, Val Kilmer made probably one of the more disturbing movies I've ever seen. Wonderland. about Johnny the Wad Holmes, who was a porn star, who got mixed up with, with the wrong kind, with drugs and everything else. He was strung out. They were doing heroin, and they went to a house one night and killed a bunch of people, beat them with baseball bats when they were sleeping.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's an ugly, ugly movie, and it lost money. It was not well received. It was well done, but it's just gruesome. I mean, if you watch, it's a one-watch deal. But once again, the man who played the porn star, Val Kilmer, was absolutely good in this one. So, as a strung-out porn star, people think Peter North is related to me. I don't believe he is. No, could have been. Missed by inches. Who knows?
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes, missed by inches. So Val Kilmer will live on. And like I said, if you haven't seen a Val Kilmer movie, but you've seen some of his top ones like The Doors, Heat, and of course Tombstone, the other ones, you'll say they're good. Now, this is appropriate for the show here. This is Val Kilmer, the funeral scene in Top Gun Maverick, and that's how we're going to exit this show. Have we seen everything, Joe? All the highlights? I want to make sure we got them all in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went through it all.
This is one of our more extensive shows. I made sure we did the best. Richard, thank you for everybody. Thank you guys for all tuning in. Joe, any parting words? Because I know you and your wife had a special thing. You guys loved it as much as anybody.
Yeah, my wife's family has always been huge into Top Gun. We all went as a family to go see Top Gun Maverick when it came out in the theater with the aviators.
Which saved the movie industry, by the way.
It did save the movie industry.
For the time being.
Remember when everyone was criticizing, like, oh, why didn't you just put it on streaming during COVID?
Oh.
Well, they made the right decision, Mike. That movie made so much money. They're making another one. Val Kilmer got to just come on in, and even though people didn't expect him to talk, he spoke in that movie.
Right. There were rumors that Cruise and Kilmer hadn't talked for years, and that basically that there might be a strain, because once again, he's one of those perfectionists. On the set, he's questioning whether he's the main star or not. Tom Cruise is nobody to mess with, though. They brought him back, and I'm glad they did.
They did it perfectly.
Yeah, he did a great job. So, on behalf of Pennyville Station, on behalf of Cumberland Chapels, on behalf of Joe Mandel, on behalf of all you Val Kilmer fans, my wife included, we were very sad to hear this. It's been a tough year, folks. A lot of great ones have died.
Whew, unreal.
And he's one of them. So have a good one. There's been quite a few that have passed recently. Like I said, Richard Chamberlain, George Foreman. Let's hope it doesn't continue. But if it does, we'll be here for you, folks, because this is our bread and butter. Somebody big just died. Good night.